to the last session of SG Cookathon 2020. Sorry, I just mute the sound of the laptop. We're very excited with Payal to host this last session. I'm Gabriel from Your Ripe. This session is in collaboration with Marigold. So this evaporated milk. And this is a full cream evaporated milk, Kings of Kings, Marigold. And we're going to cook something really nice with it. You can actually use it like to make something creamy, but in a healthier way, like tom yum, soups, anything you want to add a bit of creamy texture.
Mm-hmm. Ready? We will be making two very, very popular dishes. One is our chicken tikka masala, and the other one is dal makhani. But we're going to be cheating a little bit today because instead of using black lentils, which take ages to cook, like the whole day, we'll be using Masoor dal. So hope you've got your ingredients ready. Let us know. Give us a thumbs up so we can get started because we are very, very excited to cook this. I have got my lentils right here. These are 1 cup, 1 American cup, so 240 ml cup of Masoor, whole Masoor lentils, okay? So whole red lentils. And these have been soaking in water, in 2.5 cups of water for 1 hour, all right? Okay. And we're going to put this on the stove top, bring it to a boil. All right. Yes. And then once it comes to a boil, we're going to reduce the heat to a simmer and let it cook for another 20 minutes or so until my lentils are cooked. And then we'll make the sauce. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So get your lentils out, put them on the stove top, and we are going to switch this on. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. We'll just let this come to a boil right now. And quickly, see it's coming to a boil. Yes. Yep. And we're going to reduce the heat slightly to a simmer. See that? So reduce the heat to low. So it comes to a simmer. All right. And I'm going to cover this up.
I like the smell of lentils.
Yeah, you're turning vegetarian. That's what's happening.
Yeah, I really like it. I don't know.
Okay. And now we just covered it partially and we're going to go back to it after 20 minutes. Okay. Let's have a look at our dal while we're waiting. Your dal should be simmering away. Mine is. We'll just check on it. All right.
Well, just go, yeah.
It's getting softer, which is good, but it's not been 20 minutes yet.
Okay.
Okay, so I need to continue.
How do you know the timing? Because you don't put any timer.
Okay. It's up here. It's been 10 minutes so far.
Yeah, I didn't even check.
It's been about 10 minutes. It's not been longer than that. In the meantime, what we're going to do is start chopping our ingredients for the sauce for the dal first. For the dal, you should have an onion. I have a red onion, which I'm going to chop very finely after. Okay, so my onion is done. I'm going to start chopping it in a moment. I also need garlic, a few cloves of garlic. How much was it? 3 cloves, I think. 3 cloves of garlic and about a tablespoon of chopped ginger as well. 1 chili padi. Again, I'm using green chili padi. Okay, so I'll be chopping these. And you also need about 400 grams of fresh tomatoes, which are right here. Okay, so we'll be chopping these as well. Let's start with the onion first.
So last time you said the French tomato are not that good. So today we still use fresh tomato.
They're not very good, but do we have a choice?
Yeah.
With Indian food, we don't generally use canned tomatoes because they are too tangy. They're great for pasta sauces, but they're too tangy for Indian food. And we are using chopped Italian tomatoes for chicken tikka masala.
Okay.
But chicken tikka masala is very, very British. Okay? It's not Indian.
Okay.
All right?
It's not Indian.
Chicken tikka masala is not Indian. It's very popular in India now. Chicken tikka, the marinated chicken that we just made, is Indian. But chicken tikka masala, the curry itself, it's the national dish of Great Britain, and it's not Indian. I think it originated in Glasgow, in Scotland.
Okay.
Okay, and there's a nice story behind it.
Chicken tikka masala is not Indian. That's true. Even in France, you can find very easily.
Yeah, it's everywhere because France is very close to England.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
On a rainy winter's night, this man went to an Indian restaurant and ordered a chicken tikka masala, right? chicken tikka. He ordered a chicken tikka.
And then they made tikka masala.
No, okay, let me talk. Okay, so he ordered chicken tikka, right? But the guy, the waiter, he went in and he got his plate of chicken tikka, which is an appetizer. And he gave it to the guy, and the guy went, this is too dry. Can you make me some sauce with it? And so he went back inside, told the chef, and the chef, who had a bit of a cold and was enjoying his tomato soup at that time, thought to himself, what am I going to do? He took the tomato soup, he poured it in a pan, he added some cream, some slices to it, added the chicken tikka in it, the chicken tikka appetizer in it, and created chicken tikka masala. That's how it was born. Okay. Yeah. And I bet the guy who ate it got a very bad cold after that.
Yeah. Wow, this is the story.
This is the story that I've read. There are multiple versions of where it originated. Some people say that it originated in Pakistan, but nobody really knows.
Okay.
It's been about 18 minutes.
Wow,
Gabby.
oh my God.
All right. They're looking good. See? Now, if I pick one up and touch it, it's done. See how it's falling apart? So it's good. All right. You want to try? Take one. Try it. And I'm going to set this aside. Turn the heat off. Check your... All right. Let's turn this off. Check your lentils now, guys. If they are falling apart like this, when you press it and they seem cooked, you need to turn the heat off and take your lentils off the heat. Okay. So everybody get your onion, ginger, garlic, and chili ready, and get a wok ready, a wok or a saucepan ready.
Do you need oil?
Or? Yes, I will. I've got ghee. So I am using, this is Indian clarified butter. It's basically butter without the fat. Okay. And I am going to be using about 3 tablespoons of this stuff. This stuff is delicious, by the way. So good. Not everybody likes it. It's
yeah. It's very like butter, but...
Yeah, it smells buttery, right?
Yeah.
It smells very buttery and looks buttery, but it's actually healthier than butter. So heat up your oil first.
So is it healthier than butter then?
It is healthier than butter because it doesn't have as much fat in it.
Okay.
Butter has a lot more fat in it, and it's flavor. It has so much flavor in it.
I didn't know ghee until I came here. In France, we never use ghee.
You use clarified butter in France, and it's the same thing.
Okay.
It is actually the same thing. Yeah.
Okay.
See, I have learned French cooking.
Okay.
Not all of it, but I know quite a few dishes, and they put it in a bag. So they put butter in a bag, and then they put it in a hot water bath, and they separate it. They separate the fats. And then they cool it down in the fridge, and you get a chunk of fat on one side, and you get clarified butter on the other side, and you can cut it up and use it. That's how they make it. But the way we make it is slightly different. Okay. Now see how I put in oil in a hot pan, and now my spoon is starting to sizzle along the edge. It means that my oil is ready.
The ghee.
Okay. Yeah. Your ghee is ready. All right. So we're going to start by adding cumin seeds first. So grab some cumin seeds. All right. And you're going to be adding about a tablespoon of cumin seeds in there. So a flat tablespoon of cumin seeds. And because the oil is hot, my cumin seeds are going to release their flavor straight away. See that?
Wow.
Yeah, and they're going to start spluttering straight away. So start with your ghee. Or if you're using vegetable oil or coconut oil, you can totally do so. Okay, you don't have to use ghee. It's just something I like to use when I'm making especially dal. Okay. All right,
now garlic and onion.
We've got the onion.
Ginger.
Onion goes in. Sizzle. Ginger, garlic, chili, all of it goes in. All right.
It smells buttery, but not the same smell as butter.
Yeah. Well, I still like butter more.
Okay.
Butter is flavor, right? However, when you're making things like dal and you're frying butter at high heat, it's going to brown.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's going to change flavor. Whereas ghee doesn't, because it has a higher smoking point. Once you've removed the fat, fat burns more easily.
Okay.
Get it? That was the purpose Indians created it. I don't think the reason they created it was because they wanted to get rid of the fat. I think they created it because they wanted to increase the smoking point.
Okay, let's see.
All right, and you can even deep fry in ghee.
Deep fry in ghee.
You can even deep fry in it.
So is this more expensive than oil? Like
it's more expensive than oil. It's way more expensive than butter.
okay.
Okay, so this is a small can, right? This will cost. This is 400 grams. This will cost. I usually buy the big one, the big tin, 1 liter is $22 for 1 liter. So I'm guessing this is about $10-12 each. But this is a very good brand, and it's not made in India.
It's made where?
It's made in Australia. Okay. How cool is that?
So chicken tikka masala is not Indian, and the ghee is made in Australia.
All right. So we're going to fry the onion until it's brown. I'm going to reduce the heat slightly. So keep it on medium heat so it doesn't over brown. Gabby, can you stir this for me? Yes. In the meantime, I'm going to get ready with my tomatoes. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to pick this up because I'm very anal. There.
A bit OCD.
Just anal, not OCD. There are things that I'm very disorganized with, like things on my computer and my phone.
This is okay.
I can never be a good coder or a programmer. I was told I was fired from a job. All right, so my onion's looking brown. Okay, we're going to scrape the tomatoes in. Guys, if your onion is brown, scrape all the tomatoes in. Right now, let's mix this after you've added the tomatoes. Is everyone on task? Give me a thumbs up, please, if you're on task. People, are you on task?
So we see thumbs up.
Awesome. Doing well. Mandeep's on task. Reina is on task. Awesome, guys. So tomatoes go in. Again, it's still on medium heat and it should be sizzling away. All right, grab your spice tin or your spices now, and we're going to start adding our spices. First spice is our coriander powder. Grab coriander powder and add a whole tablespoon of coriander powder in there. See how good that smells? Very different smell from coriander leaves, isn't it?
Yeah,
although it's the same thing.
Even the ground, the one you buy.
So the one you buy, it's the same. Those are the leaves. So if you plant the seeds in the ground, you get the leaves. If you toast the seeds and turn them into a powder, this is what you get. Okay. So coriander done.
You made it? Or?
I did make it. I make my own spices. It doesn't take long. Trust me. And the flavors are awesome when you make them yourself. Okay. So coriander done. 1 tablespoon of coriander, guys. And then chili, it's completely up to you. I'm going to add just a 1/4 teaspoon for flavor, so not too much. All right. A 1/4 teaspoon of my chili, red chili powder.
So I continue mixing, yeah?
Yeah, just mix it, yeah. And if you don't have a handy helper like Gabby, you don't have to continuously mix it. It's fine. Okay. All right. And then I have my salt. I'm going to add a 1.5 teaspoons of salt. This is very coarse, kosher salt. If you're using fine salt, fine table salt, please reduce the quantity to half because it's very salty and it's also quite densely packed. Okay. So salt done, coriander done, chili done. We need turmeric. Okay. So we're going to add a 1/4 teaspoon. You can add up to 1/2 teaspoon, not a problem, but don't add too much. All right.
The taste of turmeric is very, very strong.
Okay, so add about 1/2 teaspoon, I'd say, of turmeric, and then give it a good stir. And we're going to give it about 7 to 10 minutes like this for the tomatoes to soften a little bit. Okay, Gabby, you can stop stirring it now.
I can stop.
Yeah. So see this big piece of tomato here? I'm just going to mush it up a little bit because I didn't chop it properly. All right, I'm just waiting for the oils from the spices to come out. Okay, when you add spices to a sauce like this, or even, in oil, when you fry them, what they do is they start to release their oils. All right, and this here is the ghee that you've added and also the oil from the spices being released. Okay, so we're just going to stir it occasionally now and wait for the tomatoes to soften a little bit. And also wait for the oils to be released. Okay, guys, go up to your sink, get 1.5 cups of water. You can put it in a cup or you can put it directly into your lentils. It really doesn't matter because everything goes into the sauce in a minute. All right.
And meanwhile,
I've got
I'm doing
1
my
cup
best.
and another half. Done. All right. All set.
Wow. Okay, you added a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's going to reduce further. Lentils thicken a lot once you cook them. Let's have a look at this. See how you see oil droplets along the edges? Can you see that? The tomato looks nice and soft, and we see oil along the edges, the walls of the container, the walls of the wok. Yes? Now, guys, if you've got the water ready, if you've got your lentils ready, and your tomatoes have softened, this is what you're going to do next. You're going to add your lentils and the water into the pan now. All of it.
Wow.
Goes in.
Okay.
It looks like a lot of water.
Yeah.
I know, but it's going to reduce and it's also going to thicken the sauce. The lentils are going to thicken the sauce, so you need all that water. Otherwise, it's going to be very heavy on your stomach. Especially if you serve this dish with rice, you need a little bit of liquid in there. Okay? So I'm just going to increase the heat. So increase the heat now to very high because you need to bring this to a good boil. And once it comes to a good boil, we're going to cover it up, reduce the heat to low, and then cook it for another 20 minutes on a simmer. Okay? All right, so this has come to a good boil. Reduce the heat to a simmer all the way down.
So to low heat.
To low heat. To very low heat. Grab a lid. And cover it up for 20 minutes.
20 minutes.
Yeah, and we're going to go back to it in 20 minutes and we'll finish it off. Okay?
So now I look at the water. It lost a lot of water.
Yes, see the dal, it actually soaks up all the water that we had in there. It was a lot of water. It's still on low heat, so keep it on low heat, people, or I had turned it off earlier on, but I am going to put it back on low heat.
Okay.
And I am going to bring over the rest of the ingredients now, okay? Got garam masala right here. And we're going to add about 3/4 of a teaspoon of garam masala in here, okay? Add a tablespoon of lemon juice in there now. So you've added your garam masala, you've added your tablespoon of lemon juice.
Of the Marigold King of Kings.
Evaporated milk. Okay, so half a cup of this.
Half a cup.
Put it in. And we leave the rest of it for the next recipe. Okay? You've added this. Continue to simmer it. And finally, we're going to add the last ingredient, which is actually the main ingredient of the dish. It's called kasuri methi. Kasuri methi literally means fenugreek, dried fenugreek leaves.
Fenugreek leaves.
You've heard of fenugreek, yes? The little seeds that they put in curry powder?
Yeah.
That's fenugreek seed. Yeah?
Okay.
You plant the seeds in your garden, you get a herb called fenugreek leaf.
Okay.
All right, and it's a fabulous, fabulous thing.
Let's see.
And I always keep it in my freezer to keep it nice and dry. Okay, so I'm going to grab that from the freezer. If you've bought fenugreek leaves already, grab them now. Okay, and you can add this stuff anywhere between 2 to 3 tablespoons of kasuri methi. So I leave this in the freezer. If you haven't done it today, it's fine. Once you've used it today, pop it back in the freezer. Pop it in the freezer. That just ensures that they're nice and dry. Hear that sound? Yeah. So I'm going to take about a tablespoon at a time, crush it between my fingers like this.
Fenugreek leaves.
Smell it. Actually, you don't even have to come near to smell it.
Yeah.
It smells like Indian food.
I don't know what's the smell, but
It smells like butter chicken and chicken tikka masala.
okay.
And this is ready. Now you can finish this off with a tablespoon of butter in the end. So butter, not ghee.
Not ghee.
Not ghee. Butter is
finish with
for
butter.
garnish, yeah?
Okay.
Just to give it a little more saltiness and flavor. Okay, so I'm going to grab some salted butter and I'm going to add it. And the butter is just a garnish toward the end, but I'll add it now anyway. So I've got a tablespoon of butter.
Again.
So this is done. I'm going to turn the heat off, set this aside. And as you let this sit and cool down a little bit and, wait for the flavors to mingle, it's going to taste even nicer. It'll taste
Okay.
nicer tomorrow than it does today because it's curry.
Nice.
Yeah. So take one thigh at a time. All right. Now, Gabby, can you see there's a little bit of fat there?
I see.
I'm going to leave the fat. If it's
Okay.
too much fat, you can remove it. If you've got skin on your thighs, remove that. You need skinless thighs, but you do need a little bit of fat on them. It's
So
what,
why do you need fats?
the fat will render when we cook these, when we sear these in a pan and give it extra flavor.
Okay.
Okay? And you know that, you're French. You guys
Really?
render a lot of fat. All right. All right, we're
Yeah,
going
we
to
love
cut it.
butter.
We're going to cut it in the middle. Duck fat in France.
Yeah, duck fat. Yeah.
Yeah. And chicken fat, no? Not so much.
Mostly duck in the south of France.
Mhm.
Yes, we use that for like really, like the really authentic dishes. We use duck fat.
I like fat.
Okay.
I hate to say it, but I love animal fat. You're not vegan, are you?
No, not vegan yet.
Okay. All right. We're going to cut this in quarters. All right, everybody. If you've got a big piece like mine, cut them in quarters.
So I'm just can everyone see the zoom in camera? Just give us a thumbs up if you can see the zoom in camera.
Okay. This is a small piece. So I'm
Okay,
just going to.
nice. Thanks, Oli.
Okay. This is a small piece. I'm going to leave it just as it is. And the big ones, you can either cut into quarters or you can cut it into long strips. Strips also work.
So why
Okay.
do you use this part of the chicken?
Why do
For
I
the
use
thighs?
chicken thighs rather than chicken breast?
Yeah.
Because they are more succulent and they don't dry out when you fry them. Okay. So I'm just going to pop this here. Back in my bowl.
So this is how many servings?
This is good enough for 4 to 5 people. Okay. But if you've got teenage boys, there's no guarantee.
Okay.
Okay. Teenage boys and my husband.
Okay.
All right. So chicken's here. You need to grab a small piece of lemon. So I actually asked for 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. If you have it ready, squeeze a tablespoon of lemon juice in there, and then add a teaspoon of salt to it. Kosher salt. Okay. If you're using table salt, which is much finer, then you have to use less. Okay. This is very coarse. If you're using a coarser salt, you need about a teaspoonful. All right. So add that in. We'll just mix this and set this aside for a few minutes. Now the lemon juice, what it does is that it helps the flavors that we're going to add to this, the spices that we're going to add to this, penetrate the chicken even more. Okay. All right. So this is what you're going to do. For your chicken marinade, you need a tablespoon of minced garlic. You need about a tablespoon of minced ginger, and I'm going to be adding 1 green chili padi. Okay.
Okay.
Now I like to add green chili padi rather than red chili padi to my Indian recipes, because to me red chili padi is very hot.
Okay.
It's too overpowering, the flavor, which is why I like to use this. Okay. So very quickly, we're going to peel the garlic and chop the ginger as well. Peel the ginger, peel the garlic, chop it very, very fine. If you've got a mortar and pestle handy, just pound it all together. It's much faster. And a mortar and pestle also helps release the flavors from these herbs better than chopping does. Okay. So if you've got that, I have got it, so I'm going to be using it. Okay. But if you don't have it, it's okay. You can just chop it very, very fine. To peel your ginger, grab a small spoon, which is what I'm going to do. And the easiest way would be, shall we move the camera here? All right. So the easiest way to peel ginger would be simply by scraping it with a small spoon. See that? And I've given this tip every single time I do a class. This is the most handy tip in the kitchen if you use any amount of ginger. I use a lot of ginger.
Yeah, that's true. I always use my knife.
Yeah, you end up wasting a lot, and it's also slower, the process. Okay. So now you've got your ginger, you've got your garlic, and you've got your chili. Just chopping the chili slightly, and I can use a mortar.
If you spicier, you add the
red one. Yeah, if you want it very overpoweringly spicy, then you use the red one.
Okay.
If you want heat, but you don't want, the overpowering.
It stays in the mouth.
Yeah. If you don't want that, then I'd put 2.
Two
two green chilies instead of red.
Okay.
Because I don't like the flavor of red chili in Indian food in general.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's put your chopped ginger, garlic, and chili, all of it, into the half a cup of Greek yogurt, really thick. See how thick that is?
Yeah. Wow.
That I have ready.
Okay, sure. See the yogurt. Yogurt.
All right, so this is good. Super fine. And all I'm doing now is just scraping it all into my yogurt. So about a tablespoon of garlic, about a tablespoon of ginger, and 1 chopped chili. All right, done. We'll mix it up, and we're going to start adding spices to it now. All right. Now get your spice tin out if you've got it, or get your spices out. Now you need cumin powder. Okay. I am going to get this out because I am not used to measuring things.
Okay.
I'm going to get my recipe out and tell you exact measurements, because usually all I do is sprinkle on top of the meat depending on how much meat there is. So I've got some cumin powder, and to this I am adding about 3/4 of a teaspoon. Okay, so 3/4 of a teaspoon of cumin, ground cumin. All right. Goes
So
in.
you know by heart because you've been doing this a lot, or
Yeah.
just
I know this. I don't know it by heart. I would say it's just instinctive because I grew up eating Indian food and learning Indian food. So if you tell me to tell you how many teaspoons and tablespoons, I have to think a little bit.
yeah.
But when I sprinkle, I don't have to think. All right?
Okay. It's
'Cause
more
I'll-
like feeling.
Yeah, feeling by feel.
Yeah.
All right, so I've got my spice tin here. I've already added 3/4 of a teaspoon of cumin powder. And to this, I am also adding 3/4 of a teaspoon of garam masala powder.
It would be
Okay.
nice to see that.
All right. 3/4 of a teaspoon of cumin powder, 3/4 of a teaspoon of garam masala powder.
This smells so good.
You want to smell? Here.
yeah. Oh my god, yeah.
Now that's homemade, which is why it smells so good.
There's a bit of anise.
Actually, no, there's no anise in there. There's cinnamon, black pepper, cumin seeds, caraway seeds, bay leaves, mace, nutmeg.
Okay,
What else?
nutmeg. Okay.
There's more. There's more. There's like 12 to 15 different things in there.
Cloves?
Cloves,
Okay.
green cardamoms, black cardamoms, and a few other things. Okay. All right. I'm adding half a teaspoon of turmeric. Okay. Golden turmeric. We've already added salt, so we're not going to add that. Okay. And the red chili powder is completely up to you whether or not you want to add it. Okay. This is quite hot. This is just regular red chili powder. So I'll just take a 1/4 teaspoon
Okay.
and put that in. All right. Because I don't want this too hot. I don't like food that is too hot. Okay. I want to be able to taste the flavors. I like Indian food, but only when it has very clean flavors. And restaurants generally don't do that. Restaurants make it very spicy, which is why I never eat Indian food outside.
Okay. Yeah, you make it at home. It's better.
Yeah. All right. So let's
You
give
don't
this
need to go to restaurants.
and it's not hard to make. If you've got the spices, it's actually very easy to make Indian food.
Yeah. If you got this thing.
Yeah. You need this. This is like the basis of all Indian cooking. If you have this and you've got some fresh ingredients, and by fresh ingredients, I mean onions, ginger, garlic, chili, and tomatoes. That's it.
That's it.
That's
Okay.
all you need. And your meat or vegetables, whatever you want to use as a base. Okay. So that's going to be my marinade. And I am going to pop all of my chicken, which is over here,
Yeah, sorry.
into my marinade. Now, ideally, you should marinate this overnight or for
Okay.
at least 8 hours. Obviously, we don't have that today. So we are going to give this as long as we have. All right.
So you marinate it first with lemon and salt,
Yeah, to break it
chicken.
down. Yeah.
and then in the Greek yogurt, you have put the garlic.
Go on. Ginger,
Garlic, ginger,
chili.
and chili. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
And then we're stirring mixing everything in.
Yeah, and we added 3/4 of a teaspoon of
Yeah.
garam masala, 3/4 of a teaspoon of cumin powder, half a teaspoon of turmeric powder, okay, and a pinch of red chili powder. That's all. Okay, now this is done. I'm just going to set this aside now.
Okay.
All right, and we will go back to it
So
later.
Okay, and then the next step is to fry, or you still have something to do after?
No,
you
we don't have to do anything to this now. We're just going to set it aside. Now, we don't have 8 hours, like I said, so we're going to leave it at room temperature. It's quite warm today. The warmth, the humidity, the heat will help it penetrate faster. So it won't taste as nice as it would have if we had marinated this overnight, but it'll still be pretty good. And we will be searing it on both sides and then putting it in the sauce. Now, this recipe is awesome because you can also use this for your barbecue.
Okay.
All right. So you can actually skew these on a metal skewer and then put them on your barbie for 8 to 10 minutes. Keep brushing it with some butter or coconut oil so then it doesn't dry out, to retain the juices. And you've got a beautiful barbecue right there.
Yeah,
okay.
Wow.
All right. But we don't have that today. So we're just going to sear this on both sides and then add it to our sauce. Let's set this aside for now and we'll go back to it later. Okay. So that's out of the way. Let's have the chicken tikka masala. We still have to make the sauce. Yes. So what I'm going to do is I am going to start by chopping the ingredients, having them ready. Okay. Ingredients for the tikka masala recipe. Now, when you order tikka masala in the restaurant, they usually serve it very, very smooth. Okay. Yeah, I like mine chunky. So I'm going to keep it chunky today. If you wish to blend your sauce later on, you will need to get your immersion blender ready. So have that ready, and I'll show you when to use that later on. Okay? But for now, we're going to start chopping the ingredients. I've got an onion right here. Let's move the camera here so everybody can see what I'm doing with the onion. All right. Now, I did mention in the recipe that we were going to chop the onion into cubes. All right.
So you mean by chunky that
large cubes?
Yeah, everything you're going to chop now in big chunks.
Just the onion. Just the onion, because I like chunky onion in my curry. Okay. I enjoy vegetables to be able to taste them in my curries. Yeah.
I see.
Okay. So that's my onion. Halve it and then cut it into large cubes. Okay. Show you the size. See that?
I should stay away.
Okay. This is not going to tear you up. Okay. The ginger, the garlic, and the chili that I asked for in the recipe, they need to be chopped up really fine. Okay. So that's the onion done. And then I have 2 cloves of garlic, 1 green chili, and 1
ginger
again. Okay. And we're going to chop it now. Okay. So now we're just going to chop it really, really fine. Now, guys, if you're going to be feeding your kids this, and if you want to skip the chili, you totally can. I know if you've got kids, they might not like chunky onions, in which case you might want to blend the sauce when we're ready. And I'll tell you when you can do that. Skip the chili completely, because when you blend a chili, it gets super hot. Yeah. So just skip the chili if you've got kids at home. And if you like chili yourselves, you can always add a tad bit of chili powder for yourself toward the end. Okay.
Yeah.
So Gabby's a child and she found this hot as well. All right. So pan's getting hot.
I switch.
All right. We're going to add a tablespoon of ghee or butter if you want in there. And we're going to start adding our chicken in there. All right. This is on medium heat right now, medium to high heat right now. We'll need more, Gabby, in a few minutes.
You need more.
Yeah, it's okay. All right. So you want to put the chicken in, but wait for the sizzle, okay? If it doesn't sizzle straight away, you wait for it to heat up a bit more because you want it to actually sear. I'll increase the heat so it's faster, okay? And you want to make sure that you add just a few pieces at a time, not too many, all right? Make sure you have a little bit of space between your pieces, all right?
So why do you leave space?
Because you want to sear them. And if you don't leave space, what's going to happen is there's going to be steam in between. You will create steam in between the pieces, and that steam is going to, there will be steam in between the pieces anyway. If you keep them close together, the steam is going to get trapped, and it's going to make the chicken all watery. Okay, which is why you leave a little bit of gap. That way, you let them sear and brown more easily. Okay, now it's sizzling.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so a little bit of gap in between. I've got a big pan, and this should take half the quantity very easily. Okay. Yours might take less or more. But you do need to let me know, so then we can wait for you. All right?
Actually, we need 2 times to do it 2
We'll
times.
need to do it twice, but I think people might not have a pan as big as this. Most people don't, so you'll have to wait for them. Okay? There. The middle was put in last, and that's already done.
Can we say it's a bit sharp or
It's a bit what?
sharp?
Charred, yeah. Yeah, you want it brown like this. You want to sear it nicely because this is flavor, you see. Now, if you wanted to serve this as an appetizer, you totally could, but you have to cook it all the way through. Okay, so instead of giving it 3 minutes on each side, you have to give it 4 minutes on each side, maybe 3 to 4 minutes on each side. And once you've seared it nicely, just give it a good toss for another 2-3 minutes until the inside cooks all the way through.
Okay.
Now, we're not going to do that today. We're just searing it on both sides and we're going to pull it out.
Okay.
Okay, because we are obviously using this for our curry.
Yes.
Yeah.
By the way, it smells so good.
It does smell good, doesn't it? And we've only just marinated this for less than an hour. Yeah. We started at 6 and it's 7 now.
Yeah.
Okay, so keep browning your chicken. And once it's nicely brown, we're going to transfer this in a plate and set it aside.
But yeah. I want to choke too.
Yeah, I'm choking. It's browning a lot. Okay, let's take it out.
I think
it's not done yet.
I think this one, you think it's okay?
Yeah, it's brown on both sides. Let's take it out.
Okay, done. Chicken's ready.
Chicken's ready. So you got to put a pan on medium to high heat again, guys, and get some ghee again. You're going to be using ghee again. And you need about 2 to 3 tablespoons.
2 to 3 tablespoons.
2 to 3 tablespoons. If you want to go easy on it, you can use less. Use about 2 then. I've used a good 3 tablespoons. I like the flavor of ghee a lot.
I see.
Okay. I like the smell of it more than the flavor, actually. It makes me very nostalgic.
Nostalgic of what?
It reminds me of India.
Okay.
Because all vegetarian food, you get the best vegetarian food in India. And I can't wait for COVID to be over so I can go. I haven't been in 2 years.
2 years.
Yeah. And I go back for the food more than anything else. Because the vegetarian food in India is mind-blowing. I mean, I could totally be vegetarian if I lived in India.
Really?
Yeah, but not anywhere else in the world.
Okay. Yeah, I've never been to India.
You have to go. You have to go, Gabby.
Okay.
It's wonderful. The food is just phenomenal. All right. So ghee getting nice and hot. You're going to get your onion.
So big chunks of onion.
Big chunks of onion go in.
Wow, okay.
Okay.
Very hot.
And your ginger, garlic, chilies go in as well to make life easier. All right. So we've got onion starting to brown. If your onion is starting to brown now, or if it's browning too fast, reduce the heat slightly because you don't want to burn it. And neither do you want to burn your garlic. Brown garlic has a lot of flavor. Burnt garlic is bitter, so just be careful. All right, so see how the garlic is brown already? And the onion is picking up color as well. Yeah. So this is the time when you're going to grab your tomatoes. Now this is 500 grams. I'm only going to use 400.
So how do you get?
I also have a weighing machine in my head.
Okay, I see.
All right. There.
So can you use like, not canned, but chopped tomato?
You can, but it's not going to taste like chicken tikka masala, the British version. It's going to taste like an Indian chicken tikka masala. Okay. Because you need that special tang, right? In a recipe.
Yeah.
You're going to go, oh, she taught us chicken tikka masala, but it didn't taste authentic British.
So the authentic British is with a can.
Yes.
And the Indian one
You can do it
It's
with fresh
okay.
tomatoes. But then again, the tomatoes here don't do justice to the recipe. If I were in India, we get beautiful Roma tomatoes in India. And if you use those, you actually get this sort of flavor. But here, you can't get Roma tomatoes. Even if you do, they're not very nice. Okay, so this is bubbling away. I'm just going to reduce the heat slightly. And at this point, if you guys want to blend it, if your kids don't like onions, grab an immersion blender and blend the whole thing. Okay?
So now, because the onions are very big.
Yep, the onions are quite chunky, but I actually prefer it this way because it's a bit more rustic and I like biting into that onion. All right, grab your spices now, guys. If you're blending it, do it now. If you're not blending it and keeping it chunky, you're going to grab your spices. We'll start with coriander, ground coriander, 1 tablespoon like we did with the dal, so exactly the same thing. All right?
1 tablespoon.
1 tablespoon.
Ground coriander.
Chili, if you've got kids at home, skip it because our dal is already hot. Okay? If you don't have kids at home, add a 1/4 teaspoon.
Sure.
All right, so a tablespoon of coriander,
A 1/4 teaspoon.
a 1/4 teaspoon of chili powder. You've got some
Turmeric.
here, so a 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric. Give it a stir. And a teaspoon of my salt. Again, I'm using kosher salt. If you've got regular table salt, use less because of the density. Okay?
Yes.
Give it a stir. And again, we are adding the 4 basic spices that we did earlier on in our dal as well. Okay? All right. So all that chicken goes in along with all that lovely sauce. So if you've got any juices left in there, add those in as well.
The pan is very crowded now.
And now we're going to give it a stir. All of it together. So you've added the spices, you've added the salt. You're going to give it all a good stir on medium heat. Medium to high heat. Increase your heat to medium to high, guys. So we cook this faster. All right.
Yeah, I see.
All right, now all you're doing.
So for how long do you cook that?
So we're doing the same thing you did earlier. We're waiting for the spices to release their oils.
I see.
Okay, so this step is very important and it's done in every single curry. This is the basis of Indian cooking. Start with ghee or oil, any ghee or oil of your choice.
Okay.
Add your cumin seeds if you want to, or any seeds that you would like to. Typically, we add either cumin seeds or mustard seeds in a curry, depending on which part of India you're from. And then you add your onion, your ginger, garlic, and chilies. You brown your onions a little bit, caramelize them to get the sweetness out. You add your liquid in the form of tomatoes or coconut milk, depending on which part of India you're from.
Okay.
So if you're up north, you add tomatoes because that's more inland and there are no coconut trees and there's lots of agriculture. So they grow a lot of tomatoes. If you're down south, you're along the coast and there are lots of coconut trees.
So they use
you use coconut milk as a liquid. And then you add your spices.
Okay.
Okay, and you cook your spices for a little bit. And you wait for the spices to release their oils.
So how do you know that the spices release oil?
You give it about 7 to 10 minutes. And you usually see your sauce. It'll stop sticking to the walls of the container and your container starts to get really oily. Your saucepan or your wok starts to get really oily. See that? You can come and check. See? See along the edge, it's kind of getting oily.
Okay.
Right? This is not catching at the bottom. Yeah. My pan's very hot. So guys, keep stirring it in between so it doesn't get burnt at the bottom. And see, this is what I'm talking about. My sauce is not catching anymore.
Yeah,
it's like moving so smoothly. See that? All that oil at the bottom. Do you want to try? Try to stir it and you'll notice that it's not catching at the bottom anymore. It's like really smooth and it's moving around very freely. And it's nice and glossy. That's a sign.
Nice.
Yeah. It's a sign that you're ready to add your water. So get your 1 cup of water, pour it in and give it a good stir.
Okay.
All right, so now we just let it come to a boil. Once it comes to a big, big bubble, see it's coming to a bubble already. We're going to cover it up. Cover it up. Get any sauce out from the spatula. and reduce the heat to low. And we're going to let this cook for about 10 to 15 minutes, depending on how chunky your pieces are. Okay.
I see.
Now, ours shouldn't take more than 10 minutes. Okay. People who've got bigger pieces can give it another 7 to 9 minutes. Okay. Any other questions? Please let me know.
She's happy to pay to Jack.
Okay. So here's the thing about payment. We will charge once in a while just to keep us running. But the reason why we started this was to keep spirits high during COVID.
Yeah.
And we were doing this class once a week.
Yes.
During COVID. But
every Wednesday.
Yeah. And then did we stop? Did we stop at all? For a month, we stopped.
Yeah, we stopped.
We stopped for a month. And during that month, I got a lot of emails from people saying I need to start those classes again. And I think it was time to give back to the community, which is why we kept them free all along.
Yeah.
And we will continue to keep them free for as long as we can. Because there are lots of people who can afford to come to my classes. We try to keep them as affordable as we can. Although $120 sounds like a lot of money, but the amount of rental that we pay is actually very high.
Okay.
And just to keep, support staff in the kitchen is also very expensive. Just to keep it going and, making sure they don't leave.
Yeah.
To retain them is very hard here. So we have to pay them enough to be able to retain them.
I see.
If you can afford to come to a class, please do every now and then, because that's how you can support us. But these classes we won't be charging, because we have a lot of people, a very big audience that can't afford to pay that $120 fee to come to our classes. And they're very happy when they are able to join us here.
Yeah.
They may not cook along with us, but a lot of them send me messages. They send me emails after the class thanking me. And they also send me photos of recipes that they've made. And they also tag me on Instagram a lot of times.
Okay, wow.
So it's wonderful that we've been able to support a community that can't come to a physical lesson.
Yeah, during COVID, it's been great.
I know a lot of people say that we should charge. And, I don't mind charging, but there are lots of people out there who like to attend these classes. And let's just keep it that way for now. If you wish to support, please come to a class, to a physical class. And if you can't come, send a helper. Send your helper. Helpers are always welcome. We follow an inclusive approach in our classrooms, and everybody's welcome. Yeah, boys, girls, children, helpers, everyone, and we give support, the same kind of support to everyone. Okay? So let's finish our chicken off, shall we? Let's have a look at this now.
Okay,
All right?
Please have a look.
Okay. I think it should be done by now. So go back to your chicken, people. And very quickly, check a piece, the biggest piece you can find, and cut it with a fork and knife, just to make sure it's cooked. All right? There's no danger of overcooking this, because it's chicken thigh, and you can cook it for as long as you like, and it doesn't...
Really?
Yeah, and it doesn't go tough. Whereas if you use chicken breast, you have to be super careful.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So I've taken a thick piece, and I'm just going to cut it in the middle. See that? No longer pink in the middle.
Yeah,
so it's done.
Good, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now we're going to finish it off. Everyone uncover your chicken, and we are going to finish this off. Check it with a fork and a knife. Take a big piece, cut it up, and we'll start finishing this off. So grab
the
garam masala first. We're going to add 3/4 of a teaspoon of garam masala. Sprinkle it all over.
3/4.
3/4 of a teaspoon of garam masala, not too much. Half a cup of
Marigold
Kings of Kings, full cream, evaporated milk. I remember it now.
Nice, yeah.
There, add it all in, half a cup. Give it a stir. Grab your butter. You need about a tablespoon of butter in there. I'm going to get some French butter to add to my British Indian tikka masala. I love it. How global we are today.
Yeah.
Okay, so a tablespoon of butter.
So much ghee and butter. This looks great.
It's not every day, so it's okay.
Yeah.
It's not every day. And the butter is optional. If you wish to skip it, by all means do. Okay. And finally, my kasuri methi, or fenugreek leaves. Yes. Grab those from the freezer. If you've kept them in the freezer already, like I asked you to, they should be nice and crisp right now. And you're going to add about 2 to 3 tablespoons, and I'm going to eyeball that. So I'll take a tablespoon in my hand, and I'm going to crush. You want to try, Gabby?
To crush it or
Yeah. Take about a tablespoon in your hand. Eyeball it.
a tablespoon is what this?
Okay, you're very French. Come here. This is a tablespoon. Okay, put it down. Give me your right hand. We're going to take a tablespoon, give it to Gabby in her right hand, and crush before you put. Crush it with your fingers. Use your fingers to crush. See how crispy that is and how it falls apart? No?
Yes.
Okay, good.
That's very nice. Yeah.
Okay, now give it a stir for me, please.
It smells a bit like grass. Like grassy.
Did you say it's grassy?
No.
No, it has a very unique.
It's a good smell.
It's a very herby smell. It's
yeah,
very
herby.
herby.
Yeah.
Okay, not grassy.
No, I mean, but grass has a great smell, you know?
I get hay fever, so.
You know, when you cut the grass,
Yes, it's hay fever. I get hay fever from it. And I sneeze a lot too.
okay. Yeah, I really like the smell of.
Okay, so you just have to bubble it. So I'm just going to increase the heat slightly. Let it come to a bubble. Make sure all my flavors have mingled. And then I'm going to get you a spoon for you to try this. Okay? All right. Everyone taste this now, so then you can tell whether or not you have to add salt to it. It's good. A little spicy, but I like it.
No, it's so good.
Yeah, and it's going to mild down.
It's very good. I don't mind the spice.
No?
It's very good. Yeah, the spiciness is good.
Yeah, okay. So
Oh yeah.
here's our chicken tikka masala, people. All done. Our dal is done as well. Plate both of the dishes. Serve up some rice in another dish and enjoy your dinner with a glass of red
Yeah,
wine
wow.
if you can.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's do this.
Yeah, turn the heat off. It's already come to a bubble. And this is ready to serve. Okay?
Ready to serve.
All right. What do you want to
So-
say to at the end?
So you serve with rice.
You can serve it with rice. You can serve it with roti paratha. Like Reina said, she was going to serve it up with roti paratha. It's actually much nicer with bread compared to rice.
Okay.
But children like it with rice. My husband likes it with rice. I personally prefer this with chapatis or rotis or naan if I can. All right.
Okay.
So yeah, enjoy your meal, guys, and thank you so much again for joining us. Next month, we'll be continuing the sessions again on a Wednesday.
So we do maybe something Thai.
We'll do Thai. We'll come up with a Thai menu, and we'll do Thai recipes next month. In the meantime, if you wish to order my cookbook, please go on the website communekitchen.com. Both the recipes that we did today are in there. It's only $45, and we only have a few copies left, so you might want to rush. It's a great Christmas present, by the way, because it's got recipes from all over the Southeast Asian region. All right.
Okay, thank you so much, Payal. This was the last session of SD Cookathon 2020. Thank you so much for following us. Thank you for cooking along also. We really had a lot of fun. We did so much today and during the 2 weekends. So thank you so much.
And if we don't see you before Christmas or New Year, which we probably won't, have a very Merry Christmas and a
Yes.
Happy New Year, people. Bye.
Bye-bye.